She's kind of been sitting here for a while, just covered up, waiting for me to get started. So I might as well get started. You can see here the car leans towards the passenger side. Uh, Something's got to be wrong, so I need to check that out. I did find a lot of cracks, rusted out areas. Uh, Big concern, so I needed to address that. And what I did was I cleaned it all up, welded on it. Some places I got pieces to support it that I welded on, some places just welded it. But hopefully I've got it all taken care of just to make the whole frame stronger. Here's some of the pieces that I cut to go in specific areas. And you can see here, this is the part I welded up on it. Not the best looking welds, but it's a lot stronger than what was there. Pictures of the areas that I did weld, ground them up pretty good, made them adhere, let the welding adhere. And this is what it looks like. Not perfect, but hopefully. I used this kit that I got from on Amazon to do the cleaning, and then rust inhibitor, then there's paint, and then I painted it with a primer, self-priming paint after that.
Looking at a couple of places that we did the patch welding on, you can see it's not perfect, but it sure is a lot stronger and better than it was.
Well, looking underneath the car and the frame, just the whole, everything was in bad shape. Had seals damaged, all the rubber grommets were just in terrible shape. Could you actually grab it and shake everything? So I didn't want that to happen when we were driving. So I needed to repair it, and that I did.
This car was supposedly restored prior to us getting it, and it was restored in, I think it was Nebraska or something. And they did a crap job. But my philosophy is, if it looks bad, replace it. So most of these parts are new. Um, some that the spindle and some things I reused, but even the torsion bar is new. It's bigger, better, badder kind of thing. You can see all the parts and pieces. These are all on the bad, and they were replaced eventually. This is a picture of the back of the spindle. I don't know what they got all over it, but it looks like crap. You can see all the bushings are smashed uh, and need a replacement. This is the upper arm. This is the old torsion bar that was replaced by a new, bigger one. This is the shock and spring tower cover, and this is actually a piece of metal. It just is terrible. The old shocks and springs that got replaced. Get an idea, all the rubber was smashed and wasn't in very good shape. Steering arm, disconnected that, just laying there. This is where the strut connects into the body, and everything's taken off. We're ready to do the cleaning and paint it. Ready to go. Now just another view of it. The new shocks, they're stronger, they're bigger, uh, all new bushings. This is a shock tower that you saw earlier that looked terrible. The two braces behind the air cleaner were stock for 65 Mustang, but they had an export bracing, which was one piece, a lot more rigid, and added to the stability because it was a unibody construction, and the fenders flexed, even though they should have been a little more rigid. But I added the export bracing. It's chrome, and you can see it's a lot more rigid. It's a single piece. It was a bear getting on because you had to actually spread the fenders to get it to fit where it needed to fit. Went over the shock towers and ties that in. The other piece is the chrome bar with the kind of angle is it's a Monte Carlo bar, and I assume it came from some kind of racing, but that was the same thing. It made the fenders a lot more rigid, especially in turns where the fenders would flex.
To buffer up the suspension, I put this in. It holds the fenders from caving in, and it's supposed to be a little more steerable, holds the corners better. This right here is an export bracing, and actually the one that came with it was multiple pieces, where this is one piece, makes it stronger. So this and this have been installed to make the body of this Mustang not flex as much. So it's better handling and safer.
When I was crawling underneath the car, I found a problem. I had a bracket that was on the driver's side, but it wasn't on the passenger side. And examining it closer, I think that's the reason that was the fender on the passenger side was dipping down. I went ahead and ordered a piece for it, a replacement piece, and put that in, and it seemed to help a lot. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it helped a lot.
Torsion bar, which is right there, the torsion bar, that was replaced with a larger torsion bar, new bushings, new hardware, same way here.
This is a little better view than had on the other ones. It's kind of shaky, but anyway, you can see it better here. Again, crawling underneath the car, I noticed that the rear leaf springs were fatigued and bending the wrong way. So I went ahead and changed those and all the hardware, put new shocks on the rear axle, ready to go. I took off the spindles and struts, sandblasted them, and then repainted them and reinstalled them. It's merging the old parts and the new parts, but it went together relatively easy, and I'm ready for some brakes. One of the things that concerned me about this car is stopping it. It was you had to just jump on the brakes. It had just regular drum brakes in the back and the front. So I went ahead and installed a disc brake system with a power backup on the front, and then later I went through and did it on the put drum brakes on the back. I wish I would have gone ahead and put discs on the back, but I didn't think I really need them, but it'd be nice. But it sure stops a lot better now. Put in a dual bowl master cylinder. What that does is it allows the front brakes to work independently from the rear brakes. In case you should lose fluid from one, you still have it in the other. It's a safety feature. This was not the way it was on the original ones. Also have a proportional valve where you can change the proportion of braking from front to back. Here you see the rear brake drums. The pads were actually in pretty good shape, but they were dirty. The brake cylinders leaked. So I just went ahead and replaced all the hardware, brake drums, and cleaned everything up. Here's the final piece. I painted everything so it looks good. I took a lot of pictures because I wanted to make sure I got everything the way it was. And I do this on almost everything. That's why I have so many still shots. I had to redo the linkage on the brake pedals, and you had to do it upside down on your head. It wasn't easy. I did install new brake lines on all the wheels, and I did part of the brake lines in the front.
Engine off. Firm. Push a little bit more, it goes down. A lot of pressure. I've gone ahead and I've worked on the frame, body, unibody, made it stiffer, stronger, put the export bracing and the Monte Carlo bars in, checked all the welds, make sure that makes it a lot more rigid. Went ahead and put rust inhibitor and cleaned it all out and painted it and then put another coat of paint on it. So I've updated the frame, braced the frame up. I went through the suspension, new parts on the suspension, stronger, better, tougher, more performance-oriented parts. Did the leaf spring in the back with stronger, put shocks on it, did everything there. Installed a new brake system, which was very important because you got to be able to stop. I did that. And then I tried to make everything more safer, more drivable, so you can use it as a car. You don't have to worry about running out of bouncing all around or dangerous stuff. So everything I've done is try to make it more safe, more drivable, that it can be used whenever you want to use it. You're not going to get a 1965 car that is safe and handles like a car you buy in 2025 or 24. They're not. But they're really fun to drive. The next thing I'm going to do, I've done all this, made it all stable, strengthen everything. Next thing I'm going to do is make it more fun. And next video, you'll see what makes it more fun. Like if you can, subscribe if you can. And I really enjoy doing this stuff because I love this little car and it's kind of cool. Thanks. Have a great one.